Be it Web 2, be it Web 3, cyber threat is everywhere, and cybersecurity is one of the key elements in this internet era. To learn more about cybersecurity and how it is going to defend projects in Web 3, in this episode of Newzchain Exclusive, we are speaking to Abhishek Singh, who is the co-founder and CEO of SecureDApp. Okay, Abhishek, welcome back to Newzchain. We have spoken before, we have done a podcast before, we have done a mini interview before. And I think today this interview is going to be more insightful. We'll cover a lot of other aspects of decentralized security. So for the viewers who are not really aware of SecureDApp and Abhishek, could you just, for them, could you just give your background and how SecureDApp come into existence?
Sure. First of all, I would like to say thank you to you for calling me again.
Right.
Uh, Hello to everyone. My name is Abhishek and I am the founder at SecureDApp. At SecureDApp, what we are building is a blockchain cybersecurity solutions indigenously from India for the world, depending upon covering most of the layers of the blockchain when it comes to security.
Right. And when did you start SecureDApp? I mean, were you already there in Web3 security before, or how's the journey so far? How did this whole thing happen?
That's very interesting.
Right.
No, I have not been into. In fact, I was not in a
Oh,
Web3
okay.
space.
Right.
I was heading marketing for 2-3 back-to-back
Oh, that's
brands
quite the leap.
in India. And then almost 3 years back, what happened is I met my co-founder Himanshu.
Okay.
Himanshu is from IIT Kanpur. He's the techie in the team, and it's been 3 years when we started deliberating on some ideas that we have to start. And when we started working on some ideas, there are some thumb rule that we had to follow. One being it has to be a B2B solution.
Right.
Second being it should be industry agnostic.
Right.
And keeping all that in mind and with his expertise, we jotted out that where is the gap. We thought that something which fits into both our thumb rule
Right.
and is needed is security in a blockchain space, and from there we picked it.
That's quite the leap, and that's fantastic actually. And it's the need of the hour. I mean, we have come from Web 2 to Web 3. Do we call it Web 2.5? Or it's Web 3 already?
You call it whatever but
Right.
tech stack is what is more important.
Correct.
With technology, being it Web 2, Web 2.5 or Web 3,
Right.
If there is a technology where the um, intersection of technology happens, that's where some people say that it is 2.5.
Right.
But ultimately, idea is the world is moving towards Web
Right.
3. Let's see how it works out.
Fabulous, fabulous. So yeah, we'll delve into the main segment of this whole talk. We have a bunch of questions from decentralized security, cyber security, and everything, and we'll just try to bring or get out as much information as possible from you. So the first question would be from the segment. I have been a cybersecurity, trainee back in the day. I was into ethical hacking, and now that I see the whole cybersecurity space, it has changed a lot. I mean, it's not about the type of attacks or the type of security. It's about a whole, the domain has changed. Do you think Web3 has done enough to secure everything that is already there? Do you see any broken pieces in the Web3 sector in terms of cybersecurity that, kind of needs to be fixed ASAP?
I think to answer your question, Hasujit, we have come a long way.
Right.
But we are yet to be there.
Right.
So of course there are broken links.
Right.
Which needs to be fixed. If you see that from where the blockchain security or Web3 security started evolving from if you see from 2015-16 it started coming into existence.
Right.
Of course, with the coming of DApp, because of the EVM eco chain system, enterprises started using the EVM language, and
Right.
on top of that they were building their solutions. Now, when the need for the enterprise level solution came, the need for the blockchain security started coming up.
Right.
So if you see that the total journey is of at max about 10-12 years. And from there, there was multiple things. It used to be very similar to what Web 2 security we're talking about, which is VAPT, API security, cloud security.
Right.
But keeping all that in mind, Web3 security has something into it, which is because of the tech stack, which is called smart contract.
Right.
The contracts are the backbone of the blockchain.
Of course.
Now, this contracts holds the value or the money. Now, these needs a security. So,
Right.
along with all the other type of security, you needed a smart contract security.
Right.
Now, this has its own phases, be it audit or the runtime,
Right.
or forensic. There are multiple phases to it, but that's how it has evolved over a period of time.
Right. Now that you have brought smart contract, I think a couple of days back we were talking about, security in the broader sense, and I kind of realized that initially it started with smart contract auditing, and it's just, I think, just a year and we are into real time monitoring. So has the industry has evolved, or the expertise of hackers have evolved, that we had to switch our protection from auditing and going into real time monitoring? I think Secure Watch, one of your products, they all, I mean, you folks also are into real time monitoring, right? We just shed some light on it.
I'll talk about the product later.
Right.
But I think first part of your question was about, has the industry evolved, or
Right.
the hackers have evolved themselves?
Right.
I think both has gone parallelly. The
Right.
industry has evolved. If you see earlier, it used to be mostly a basic smart contract audit, and that's all. It has features like audit, then followed by bug bounty and
Right.
all. But that's where it was ending.
Right.
And that has not been able to solve the purpose. If this has been able to solve the purpose, then why the world has lost close to 23 billion USD because of smart contract hack?
Okay, that's huge.
And without naming anyone, all these projects were
Right.
audited by biggest of the companies.
Of course.
Now still they got hacked.
Right.
So what does it mean? It means it's not about auditing. The landscape has evolved. Hackers have evolved. They have become very sophisticated. They have
Right.
started understanding the need, and they know that the basic withdrawal logic, or your static logic and all, are not something that they will be able to live with it. Hence, they sharpen their skills, and they are mostly into different kind of attacks.
Right.
That's where the need of real-time security, when it comes to be it mitigation, be it detection or triggering, all comes into picture.
Right.
And that is the need of the hour.
Right. One of the analogy you gave me some time back about real-time monitoring, you told me, like, Harsh, if you're sleeping, you don't know your wallet is hacked. But could you just give that analogy to our viewers as well? Because that was very interesting. I think it'll give give some context to them as well.
I think that's the easiest way of knowing is, most of the folks who are going to watch this, or they must be
Right.
watching it, are Web3 fellow. Most I'm saying
Most,
they are
right.
not. And if they are into Web3, they understand that in Web3 we need a wallet. Now,
Right.
wallet is where we keep our digital assets.
Right.
To interact with wallet, what do? We make a transaction, but if at some point of time our wallet, or for enterprises it could be their smart contract, got compromised, how will they come to know? Tell me,
Right.
when you withdraw money or when you deposit money, do you get any triggers?
I mean, yeah, when we withdraw, we get a notification
From our typical banking
Right.
thing.
True.
From Web3 wallets, MetaMask is what something you use.
Yeah, I do.
Do you use Trust Wallet?
I use
Whatever wallet.
Atomic, Phantom, MetaMask.
Do you get some notifications?
Not anything significant. Not of. I mean, I do get the notifications of receiving and transferring.
So what happens is, on a real time right now, I'll give you a better analogy. Right now, when you are talking to me,
Right.
and somebody has got access to your private key,
Right.
and they are getting into and making some transaction or withdrawing fund from your wallet,
Oh, right.
how will you come to know?
Until unless I open my.
It may happen that you will see after 15 days down the line.
Oh,
It may happen. I'm not
right.
saying,
Now it makes
or
sense.
7 days down the line. What will you be able to do that? On that point of time, you are like clueless, correct?
Clueless, correct.
That's where you need your wallet monitor,
Right.
as well as a smart contract monitor. Now, for an individual, it is a wallet monitor will do the job.
Right.
But for the enterprise level company, or the DeFi projects, or wherever they have a treasury, any company which is into Web3, their assets are called digital assets.
Right.
It has to be kept in smart contract.
True.
Old wallet, hot wallet, moving A, B, C, but it all that is somewhere linked with a smart contract.
Right.
Now, this smart contract is the forefront of your transaction and holding the money.
Right.
Hence, you need a real-time monitoring, triggering, and even mitigation of your smart contract if somebody is trying to get into it.
Right. Good. I have a follow up question. It's more like a curious child in me who wants to know. I'm not really aware of how that tech works. So we have this MetaMask and all these web wallets. We call them warm wallets or cold
Correct.
wallets.
Yeah.
Right? Then we have this hardware wallets. How do they function in these cases? So if my hardware wallet is disconnected from the system, it's not connected to any network.
Yeah.
So how does that going to work?
When you have a money that is lying on your wallet, you from your cold wallet you move it to this hardware wallet.
Right.
Now, when you were keeping it, it is not connected to the system and all. Till the time it is safe.
Right.
But what will you do with that? At some point of time, you have to transact with this money. So you have to move it to either you have to bring it to exchanges or a DeFi protocol somewhere, or else you keep the money. I have so much money at my village under my floor. What is the use of that money?
Right.
So the moment you bring into the real world scenario, those monies are again prone to get hacked or compromised. Hence, irrespective of the fact that where you are keeping the money, the transaction of money comes into picture. Let's take a better example. Suppose you have bought the money and you want to transact and buy something using your Bitcoin or Matic or whatever you use. What do? You need a bridge. I don't know if you understand our technicalities, but during the bridge stage when you are moving money, the hackers are sitting, they are looking at when is the transaction happening, and from there they will it. And bridge security has been one of the biggest reason for most of the recently known hacks.
Correct. Great. I think it's very interesting. We'll keep on going now that we have started talking about wallets, and I would like to shift from enterprise to retail users. I believe majority of our viewers also come from a retail point of view. For example, I am someone who's very new to Web3 or crypto in the sense. I have started trading. I have started transacting crypto. Maybe I'm just collecting, holding in some wallet. From now I know how to create a wallet, how to transact, and I have my key phrases with me. Apart from that, what else I can do to keep my assets safe?
Multiple things. So if you are new to Web3 space, people are trying to come up with a new technicalities or a new offering to you so that they can siphon your money.
Right.
What you can do here is, we have seen that you should not be interacting with anything which is suspicious links or dApps.
Okay.
First of all, there are more than 500 DeFi products already lying on chains.
Right.
Hardly 10% of them are safe.
Okay.
So you should first know that, okay, this is the first level of security that I need. I should know what is safe, what is not safe.
Right.
That education has to go. The second is the basic understanding of security. We see that is missing. That's missing because of nobody has taken responsibility to educate them.
Right.
B. C. Your private key. You mentioned that. Now, where are you keeping your private key is also very important. If you understand that private key, most of us, including me, at some point of time, had kept it on a cloud.
Right.
And now you know that cloud security comes into picture. They are prone to get hacked.
Right.
Or they are keeping it on the email or somewhere which is accessible to hack.
Right.
It should be written in a pen and paper. So they should also know that it and at the same time you should not be losing it, because the moment you lose it, you lose your assets. So this is third layer. I feel the fourth would be, you should not fall prone to a FOMO transaction. There are multiple transactions happening and things are coming, and people feel that, oh, if I'm not doing this or I'm not buying this, I may lose it. And that's where they are ensuring that you come for a little bit of incentive, and they will make use of your innocence and hack you. And the last I can think of is a stage where you would have seen that suspicious airdrops.
Right.
They will click your, if you are on Telegram, if you are on Twitter or anywhere, and saying that, hey, there is an airdrop happening and why don't you do these 3-4 things and
Right.
get eligible for the airdrops. Now this is again a FOMO airdrops. You
Right.
should never get into this kind of trap.
Right.
So as a user, these are few standard protocols that you have to uh, eh, keep in mind. Along with that, you should also use a wallet monitor.
Right.
We give for the users, we give it at no cost. At least you should know what is happening with your wallet on a real time.
Right. Right. This is so interesting. There's so much going on in my head right now. I have like questions. I'm just trying to frame and ask you one more thing. I mean, I have like few questions there. Okay, so you brought up education, and I, strongly believe that people are not really educated on Web3 or crypto or the other technologies, and nobody has taken the charge. I'm not sure that why is that the case. Do you believe, as Web3 enthusiast or someone like all of us who are into the ecosystem, have we done enough to educate our folks or the other folks?
I think it's a long way to go. All that we have done, and the responsibility, I also take that responsibility, that to educate the folks and all is have done some blogs or some videos, not more than that.
Right.
You will see that.
Right.
Biggest of the DeFi protocols or exchanges, all that they talk about security is about hardly 1 or 2 videos, nothing more than that. That's
Right.
not the education. It is a process. The security has to be in their mind, user's mind, by design.
Right.
They should know when they are doing that, because they all know that the growth trajectory of a Web3 currencies or a digital assets or a crypto is much more than the traditional
Right.
monies, correct? Or a stock or whatever you hold. Now, if the growth trajectory is more, you have more sophisticated hackers sitting here to
Right.
make use of your innocence.
Right.
In that case, I believe we as a society, we as an ecosystem have miserably failed to do that. Onus is on all of us,
Right.
to educate them and then bring them into the ecosystem.
Right.
Multiple times at multiple forum, I've heard people talking about um, next billion users in Web3. Now it
Right.
sounds very cool to talk about
Right.
next billion users.
Right.
Now, and if you ask most of these dApps or the founders who are building into it, they don't even have a first 10 clients on board. Why is that?
Right.
That's because there is no education. Somebody has to transact with your dApp or a DeFi protocol,
Right.
or and do this. First, they need to be educated about the potential of the industry.
Right.
They need to be educated about the security concerns of the industry. And third, the benefits of the ecosystem, like how are we going to get benefited, like if it is decentralized, how does it help
Right.
add value to you and me. So a lot of things has to go.
Right.
I think we have taken just a first step.
Right.
A long way to go.
Right. So I have a follow-up question. I mean, when we talk about Web3, I mean crypto to be precise, the whole idea of crypto actually was to, fix the broken systems of the fiat infrastructure. But I think down the line, we are somewhat missing out on the ideology. I see people looking at charts, and it's all about trading. At one point, they just want to liquidate and get into fiat again. It's no more about the principles of the whole cryptocurrency decentralization anymore. Do you think we have missed the whole idea somewhere? What's your opinion? I want to know what's your take on it.
We have not missed the idea, Harshit, but what has happened is people have seen the value that it is creating, and because of that, a lot of shortcuts have been implemented into it, and people are taking all shortcuts to ensure that they get benefited out of frequent transaction or a trade. To answer your question, it was about to replace the idea of crypto in terms of against the fiat currency. In my opinion, I have always been somebody who has been saying that both has to coexist.
Right.
If you understand the power of coexistence, then you understand it has a long way to go. A very good example of this being a existing mode is, you have seen that adoption and acceptance of a crypto and a Bitcoin as a part of multi-million companies or a bank. They are using it as a digital assets. In US, it has been accepted as a treasury, and people are allowed to keep the digital assets in Bitcoin. The government has allowed banking to offer Bitcoin as a solution. I'm just telling you. So it is coexisting with USDT is coexisting with USD.
Right.
Digital currency CBDC in India has to coexist with the fiat currency of India.
Right.
If coexistence happens, it has a long way. The moment if it takes, then the government across the world has that fear of losing the control on money will come into picture, and then they will come with the even bigger or strict rules against it. Hence, I believe we should always take a path of coexistence.
Right.
Now, amazing use cases, you know that it is decentralized. You are not dependent on some third party for your transaction. Nobody knows what kind of transaction you knows.
Right.
And the time of a transaction is also very less. I send the money from US to you in India, and the moment I send, the same moment you get it.
Right.
This was not the case when it used to be fiat. So amazing benefit of technology in these cases should be used as a benefit of technology, not as a weakness of a technology, because then your anti-money laundering and all comes into picture. So coexistence is amazing. People have made use of this and have tried to benefit out of it. I think they will evolve with their time, and every industry has this few players, bad players into it. So let's avoid them and move on.
Right. The reason I get such thoughts about this whole idea of crypto and what's happening right now is because I see a lot of such incidents, and there's one more incident or kind of an event that people not really talk about. It has become really easy to launch a token, launch a token, manipulate, and then just pull the rug. Do you have any tips or anything for people to somehow determine that there are chances of a rug pull? Or I have seen it happening with a lot of meme coins. I think there's one kid from some certain college. He just launched a meme coin, and overnight he made millions and just pulled the rug. Is there a way, from any way, that you could think of anything on top of your head right now that
I think when you have to determine that is that a coin, you are absolutely correct that it has become very easy to launch your own coin.
Right.
Now, if it is so easy, there has to be some restriction, and that's where sometime back we were talking about audit.
Right.
We should talk about the contract which is going to take the money, and has that been audited? Do they have a audit certificate? I'm talking about first layer of security.
Right.
Audit is not the ultimate security.
Right.
Let me make my point clear.
Yes.
There are multiple layers, from audit to bug bounty to real-time security to anti-money laundering. There are multiple layers of security, but at least they have first layer. If they have qualified for to an extent.
Right.
B, still, if you have to see, you may have seen that many students or let's not call them the project owners is the right word, have launched their coin and they do not even give their face to the coin. You will see that they all have a cat, dog, monkeys, and picture, and they all of them are founders and the advisors of the company.
Right.
Why do they do that? If they have so much trust into their product, they should come up front and say that, hey, this is me.
Right.
They are not doing it.
Correct.
Now, this is again suspicious. How long? I'm saying this is the beauty. At the same time, it should not be used as a weakness. Correct? How long you will do that? So there are few layers of security that you should do at your end, and at the same time, look out for whichever exchange that you are transacting. Look out for the top 10, 20 coins that is transacting. Why do you have to go for a coin which is launching yesterday, and their TVM is not even significant? It means
There's something fishy.
There's something fishy.
Right. I mean, yeah, I see that. There's a meme coin or any coin. It has no use case. I mean, and people just go behind it. Okay, that's a story for another day. So we have talked about one aspect earlier today. You were saying even the big players are not safe. Their smart contracts are being audited by some big players in the industry. For example, WazirX, for example, Bybit, they got hacked. WazirX hack created such chaos in the whole country and the world. Bybit hack, kind of created the same level or maybe more, chaos in the whole industry. Again, we were talking about it, I guess, the other day
Few
on,
days back.
because that's where the money sits, right? These players have a lot of money, and the hackers come for it. But is it really the case that they are only coming for the big players? I mean, retail folks are also not really safe. That's why we talked about, do you think that down the line, retail folks are going to get hacked more than the bigger players? Do you see any indication?
So, to answer this, is a very good question. Now, nobody is safe. Let us start from this point.
Right.
The bottom line is nobody is safe, be it a enterprise level company,
Right.
or B2B company, or a retail users.
Right.
Nobody is safe. But when it comes to for a hacker, if they have to give their name to a hack, they definitely look out for a volume which is massive. DeFi protocols have been massive. All the biggest of the smart contract hack. Do you know that average money lost in a smart contract hack by enterprise level company or B2B is 18.8 million USD?
Oh my God.
Now this is massive number.
Massive.
A retail user will never have a 18 million
Right.
or even a million USD in their this. So it is good for them and worth enough for them to put their effort to look out for this kind of B2B or enterprise level company when it comes to hack. You took example of WazirX. Now the smart contract have been compromised, and the wallet, and you pass that it was a problem at the wallet, and or at your end nobody is taking responsibility.
Right.
But we all know what has happened. The transactions were approved. Now you cannot deny all that fact.
Right.
If you had a real time security, at least you would know that there are multiple people approving one transaction at same time, which is again suspicious.
Correct.
So if it is genuine, let it pass. But that
Right.
that you all will know, come to know. Sometime back, it's been almost a month or two. The Bybit hack about 1.5 billion USD.
Right.
We have lost, biggest of all
Biggest
time.
of
Now again here, the smart contract got upgraded.
Right.
It was upgradable, so they upgraded the smart contract to take out the money. Now
Right.
you see, they have become so sophisticated and they understand this market so well that they will anytime get into it. Now that is the first layer. Now the second is when it comes to retailers, we all have to be careful. As I told you, there are 4 5 protocol. As a security, you have to take care of it. Never assume that they are not behind you.
Right.
Nobody is safe. Even most of the engineers, they feel that what they have coded is very well.
Right.
Let me tell you, most all the projects are prone to hack. And as per our stats, about 93% of the projects have vulnerabilities into it, which will be at some point of time used against them.
Right. Now, Abhishek, you have been in the core of Web3 security since quite some time now. You understand the domain very well. You have products around it for B2B folks as well. This question is more like, I'm seeking an advice that players, other exchanges can imply. So whenever such hacks like WazirX or Bybit happens, was the first course of action this exchange can take? We saw WazirX, they paused the withdrawals. I guess I don't exactly remember. That was their first step. Bybit, on the other hand, they came up very bold and they were like, we'll continue operating, we'll manage everything, whatever's gone, that's gone. From now onwards, we are going to, improve and make things very secure. I think it's very important for exchanges to take steps that align with the users. So from a non-technical point of view, what do you suggest? How do, exchanges, if at all, they get compromised, can, make the announcement, or what should be their first step in this whole process?
So to answer your question, the first thing is they should take the ownership and they should come forward. The sign of a good corporate governance is whenever there is something that has been lost, irrespective of whose mistake, you cannot pass it on retailers.
Right.
If a bank in a fiat world gets compromised, do they pass it on a retailer? Have you ever seen that?
No, that does not.
If the stock exchanges on a fiat world, which has a beat the New York Stock Exchange or Gift Nifty or even our BSE, do they pass it on a retailers? Nobody does that. Same way, you have the world of crypto should also take it and own it. They should not pass it on anyone else. Now the security protocols have they implied all layer of security. The first is taking ownership. Second, answering to the public and to the governing bodies, saying that have we taken all layer of security. To let me to answer your point, most of them have not taken all layer of security. Until it is forced by the government, nobody is going to invest money. And that we have been seeing this. We go to them and pitch for something, and we kind of response that we have been seeing across is all those who understand they are proud, but they are just delaying it. With the fact that they don't have anything in place, still you are delaying it. It means you are taking a chance with the users' money. So the multiple thing, most of the products are prone to hack. They should take care of all layers of security. And to answer a real-time threat detection and mitigation is the need of an hour when it comes to enterprise level or a DApp level security, mostly for DeFi.
Right. I think now, after so many months, I think WazirX is now actually in that positive lane. I keep getting their emails and updates what's happening right now. Initially, when I got the news, it was a little chaos for me because I'm saying it like disclosing had some assets there, but right now when I look at it from a user point of view, it's assuring. I think going forward, if anything happens to other centralized or decentralized exchanges, I think that's the way to go about it. Like you mentioned, come forward and take the ownership. Okay, to wrap this whole podcast, it was really insightful. We got like so much insight from the Web3 security aspect. Now to wrap all of it, I want to kind of dive into SecureDApp and its products, and where do you folks come in this whole aspect of Web3 security?
I think when we started this, we spoke about what we are doing. There was a particular word that I used. We are a blockchain security solutions company. When I say solution, we are for a security. There are different solutions we have been making, and we'll keep building on it. When it comes to where do we see ourselves, of course, we always see ourselves as a two of the most innovative company into Web3 security. Whenever anybody is looking out for this, we should always figure into first two. That's all. We are not saying anything below or above, but we should always be in comparison for the first two. Now, when we talk about the product, I think the first product when we started, it was called Solidity Shield. It's an AI powered vulnerability detection application. This application can detect more than 150 type of vulnerabilities in your smart contract in less than a minute.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Now, on then and there, you in less than a minute, you generate a PDF, and that PDF will also talk about your security score, problems, vulnerabilities, medium, high risk, along with recommendation what it needs to be done. So all that has been done, but that's like first layer. Now, after that, we move to building a second product called SecureWatch, which is a real-time threat detection and mitigation. Right now, in its present form, it supports more than 50 plus chain. And I'm talking about EVN plus Solana plus Algorand. I'm not talking about the same ecosystem. Now, what this does is once a DApp or a DeFi protocol is already working and deployed on chain, it's a post-deployment security tool. It learns from the pattern and starts triggering a message or an alert to the project owner for anything suspicious. In fact, for everything, but not everything is suspicious. So you can set it up that, okay, anything beyond this limit, it should be able to give me a message or trigger a message. Very similar to that is when we do a credit card transaction, anything beyond 50,000 or lakh rupees, you get a call that have you done it before they process that transaction for you. Now whatever is done in the manual way, we do it for smart contract in a completely automated way. It's called real-time threat detection. Now detection is fine. Now let's come to the mitigation. Our product has one feature called auto defend. That's where we will take a call on what transaction to be stopped and what to be passed. It may happen that 90% of time we are correct and 10% of time we are wrong, because it is a completely machine learning based. It learns the pattern, it learns the transaction, and then takes a call. This is on a premium version, but so with first audit, then second real-time security, We have built a product. Very soon we'll be announcing that, called Secure Trust. It is into blockchain forensic.
Right.
So once a hack happens, you want to know hack analysis, from where it started, how it started, what is the destination wallet, where is the money lying now.
Right.
All that could be done using Secure Trust. We have already built this product. It is live. Anybody can go and test it.
Right.
However, there is a formal launch of this particular product.
Cool.
Painting. There is
Right.
last thing that I'll talk. We have worked on something on a compliance side for the DeFi
Okay.
protocols called SecureX ID.
Okay.
Now, this is a decentralized KYC and anti-money laundering solution. Now, when I say AML solution, this figures out the moment you give your wallet address to it, and it does all the KYC and all.
Right.
Within a minute, it tells you that has that wallet been ever used for anything suspicious, or for terrorism, or anti-money laundering, or hawala, whatever you call it.
Right.
It generates a score.
Okay.
On the pattern of your transactions, frequency of transaction, your threshold value, amount of transaction, and tells you that this is suspicious or not.
Okay.
And that score is similar to CIBIL score.
Right.
So that product is also built for DeFi protocol. So these all are the product suites that we have, and we are working on some more. We'll let you know
Right.
once the time comes.
For sure. I think it's the need of the hour. Web3 security, it needs to be covered in every aspect possible. I think, yeah, it was a very insightful, talk, Abhishek, and I believe our viewers are going to, gain as much value as possible. Okay, thank you so much for coming to Newzchain Exclusive, Abhishek. It was really nice talking to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sujit. And I would like to say thank you to everybody. Be safe and ensure that you design, you implement security by default, by design in your ecosystem. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And do check us out.
Sure. Thank you.